Tourism has become a highly competitive industry globally for both developed and developing countries. One can talk of countries like France, Dubai, and South Africa that are noted for tourism. A boom in a country's tourism directly affects positively the stakes of the hospitality industry. In Ghana, the tourism and hospitality industry is fast growing, stimulating other sectors in the national economy, such as agriculture, transport, manufacturing, and real estate. Evidence of growth in the tourism and hotel industry was seen during the Year of Return in 2019, spearheaded by the Ghana Tourism Authority, which saw over 700,000 people visit Ghana.
I think most of them extended because it was their first experience, and then because they didn't anticipate it was going to be this big, and they got here and like, okay, Ghana is actually a cool place. I think I can do 2 weeks more. So the excitement and everything was there. So someone that had initially planned to stay for maybe just a week, 2 weeks, they ended up extending, which was extra cash for us.
Former Minister of Tourism, Art and Culture, Barbara Otinjesi, is quoted as saying that a total of $1.9 billion was generated through activities related to the Year of Return. But just when the hotel and tourism industry was counting their blessings and hoping for a continuation through the Beyond the Return program, COVID-19 struck, and the hospitality industry was one of the hardest hit.
And then come March, when the first 2 cases were recorded in Ghana, and that was when we realized that we were in serious trouble, because at that point, 80% of all the reservations and bookings had been cancelled. And that's especially for the upmarket hotels and even some of the lower market hotels. So that was in March, and that went into April, May. By May, June, that was when we really felt it, because by that time, the occupancy rates at some of the hotels had reduced to 0. Some were operating between 5 and 10%. So salary payments had become a problem. Payment of loans. And you see, the interesting thing is that because of the Year of Return and how it went so well, some of the hotels went to contract loans to improve upon their facilities so that they could capitalize on the Beyond the Return, which the government had announced. But some rent the facilities. Okay, some rent the facilities, some rents were due, challenges were there, and then a lot of hotels actually get suppliers on credit. Okay, so they had received a lot of these facility materials and beddings, pillows, mattresses, and all those bathing soap and all that on credit. Okay, all in preparation for Beyond the Return.
President of the Tour Operators Union of Ghana, TUGA, Alisa Osei-Asamoah, who is also the Chief Executive Officer of Raleigh Consort, said the Year of Return boosted the travel and tour industry.
The Year of Return was, the president together with his team went and campaign marketed 400 years back. So the people came. You can imagine the figures. I cannot give you better, but figures were bricks for the first time. So the Year of Return, out of the Year of Return, we had Beyond Return, which we believed that it was going to be more than 100%. Because out of the Year of Return, a lot of people who came into the country, government generated income and even employment. People got work to do. And out of that, those who came, some were coming to invest, some went back, referred, and people who couldn't even come were going to come the following year. Some of our members had a lot of bookings. Some had as much as 10 groups coming. And COVID came and we had to cancel the trip. I, for example, had groups, about 2 confirmed. That month they were preparing to come. Some were coming for inspection tour so that the group followed, and COVID came.
She recounted the ordeal that tour operators went through during the lockdown.
We got up in the morning, heard that there's an outbreak virus in China, which we never thought that it was going to be pandemic. It was going to have a global effect. So it started, and we realized that Ghana, one person had it. It was like a dream. And it went on, and we all knew what happened. The number increased, and we had a lockdown. And for our tourism industry, we are dealing with people traveling in and out. So, the airlines were stopped moving, the movement halted. So people were not coming.
Stakeholders in the tourism and hospitality industry, however, had to find a way to mitigate the impact.
It got to the peak around June, to the extent that I had to intervene in the meeting between the upmarket hotels. When I say the upmarket hotels, I'm talking about the 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. I had to intervene in the meeting at the Holiday Inn where the Industrial Workers Union, that is the hotels which had unions, okay, they were agitating for payment of their salaries. Some were agitating for full payment, and obviously the hotels couldn't handle that. So we needed to meet them to let them understand the situation of the hotels. Okay, we even got to the extent that we met the President of the Republic as part of the Ghana Tourism Federation, somewhere in April, around 12 or so, all in the effort to let the government know the situation of the hotels. Because initially, from March, April, May, some of the hotels were doing full payment, but then it was obvious that if things did not improve, then the salaries would be cut down. Some were cutting by 50%, some were cutting by 60%, and in some cases too, some had to be put off job.
We didn't lay off our staff, so we had to pay them somehow. And also because we didn't want to let them go. We didn't know how long the pandemic was going to go for, so we maintained them, and then we just cut down the salary by a percentage, which they agreed to. We had a meeting over this. It's not like we just came up and said, okay, everybody's going to get X percentage on it. No, we met with them. Are you willing for the hotel to close totally, so you don't get paid till the pandemic is over? And like everybody said no. Majority of them said no because they have families and all that. So we came to a consensus and we're like, okay, let's do it this way.
There was suddenly the quest for domestic tourism. Domestic tourism now became the buzzword, and it's not surprising that the president took advantage of it and actually launched the promotion of the domestic tourism somewhere in June. So there were a lot of partnership between the various trade associations, talking about tour operators, and then the hotels, the tour guys were also collaborating, the car rentals were also collaborating with tour operators and with hotels, all to push domestic tourism, because it was obvious that we had to depend more on domestic tourism.
It gave the hope to everybody. So we took it upon ourselves, and GT and ourselves and the association were doing the media campaign, going from FM station to FM TV campaigning, and in fact it has given Ghanaians hope, and the domestic tourism has really improved, even though we have a long way to go.
In 2021, the world witnessed the approval of COVID-19 vaccines by the World Health Organization for use by countries. As countries began administering the jabs, some level of normalcy was restored. Borders of countries were opened and flights started full operations. This meant the tourism and hospitality industry could pick up again.
When these restrictions were eased across the time, that is where we started seeing some improvement. And that was around October into December, okay. And then the political activities also helped us. Then the Unitide also helped a bit. So some amount of comfort came in during that period. It was obvious, but certainly far below the pre-pandemic period of the year of return. Necessity is the mother of invention. So indeed, some of the hotels, and I know a lot of the upmarket hotels, which did the home delivery as far as their restaurants were concerned, and also strategized and positioned themselves to provide more restaurant services customers outside the hotel. So all those things happened. And I also know that some of the hotels were also providing space for even the Zoom meetings. Okay, so, but the nature of the hotels does not really help a lot in diversity. Our diversity is so limited because you have the fixed structure there. Okay, so apart from the basic service of providing accommodation, diversifying to other areas is quite limited. However, what we observed was that a lot of them also pushed for the e-marketing. A lot of them went online. That's one of the challenges we face as an industry, and that's especially for the lower market hotels. A lot of them are not online. A lot of them do not have websites. A lot of them have not taken advantage of the digitalization that is going on. So that was a period when some of the hotels actually took advantage of the e-marketing, the digitalization.
By mid of this year, some of our members were getting groups coming in gradually, not as before, but it was better than last year. So the recovery process was on, and even December in GH, the festivities, there are groups coming. I have one member who are expecting 4 groups. So gradually, it was picking up.
Aside from the impact of COVID-19, the Ghana Hotels Association president bemoaned other challenges affecting them.
The industry is heavily regulated. We have a lot of regulators, starting from our primary regulator, which is the Ghana Tourism Authority. We pay some licenses to them. Then we have the Environmental Protection Agency, the Food and Drugs Authority. The budgets have their fees. The 1-star, 2-star, up to the 5-star. The 5 stars, if you take even business operating permits, some pay as much as 7,000, 6,000. It's a combination of all of these things, including the interest we pay on loans, including the salaries we pay, then including the materials we use to work. When you enter a hotel room, you want to be convinced that it's more like very fresh to you. So you don't want to see any sign of any other person's presence. So what the hotels do is that when there's a small mark on the wall, they make sure they clear it. When there's a challenge with the plumbing, they make sure they resolve it. If the TV has a problem, so maintenance itself is so high. Okay, so all these factors result in the high cost of operation. But over the years, we have realized that there is some fixation on just the upmarket hotels. There are several options from budget, and we have some very good budget hotels, some very good 1-star hotel, 2-star hotel. So these are all options that tourists can use, okay, so that they can minimize their cost. We shouldn't forget that the hotel business itself is an international business. We have people who come from outside, foreign visits, who want a certain level of luxury, okay, and we cannot compromise that to a level which we think should be a domestic quality level that can be afforded. So we should reduce the luxury to that level. No, it's an international business. Anybody can come from the Americas, Europe, Asia. These rich sultans, they all come here. And when they come, they want a certain level. Please, monkeys dance by sizes. So if you are going to my part of the country, which is the Nzulezu area or the Zuma area, you can look out for a hotel that fit your budget. But unfortunately, what hasn't happened is that these small hotels are not online. They have not been able to market themselves, okay, for the tourists, the domestic tourism, to have those options to choose. So somebody is going to Zuma, and all they think about is Maha Beach Resort. Maha is on the higher side. We have smaller hotels there. There's Yaba Hotel, there's all those hotels there, which you can also look at.
He further added the threat posed by the Airbnb activities currently springing up in the country. Airbnb is an online marketplace for lodging, primarily homestays for vacation rentals. The platform connects people who want to rent out their homes with people, mostly tourists, who are looking for short stay accommodation in specific locations.
We are also under some serious competition from Airbnb, which is not at the moment regulated. They are not registered in any way. They don't pay taxes, none of those things. But then they are in serious business. Okay, so we also want to be in that e-space, that online space, so that we can compete effectively as we try to get the Ghana Tourism Authority to regulate the business of the Airbnb so it can all be on a fair playground.
As the world continues to fight the COVID-19 virus and its impact, stakeholders in the tourism and hospitality industry, especially in Ghana, can only hope that the early success chalked is improved. Key to this is embracing the COVID-19 vaccination for citizens to reach a herd immunity by the end of the year, else another decline is certain.